Hey there, Hollywood fans, and welcome to this week's show. So as we promised earlier in the month, we were going to close out August with two bangers, and this is the first of those. Round number 6 of the GXCCs out in Delmas. That's round number 6 of their 8-round championship. So a super important round as well, with only one round to throw away. Great action, awesome track, a big track as well. 53 kilometers was a big loop, and a nice sprint, 14 kilometer for the juniors. This is what went down, and this tightens up the championship nicely as we head to the final 2 rounds. This was Delmas, round number 6 of the GXCCs. All this GXCC racing action is brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. We thought we were done and dusted with winter, but Dusty Delmas rolled out the early morning fog to give us a nice fresh start to round number 6 of the GXCC Championship in 2024. All right, guys, here we are, round number 6 of the GXCCs, and I thought we were done with winter. What's going on here, V?
Yeah, it was so lacquer this last couple of days. Warm, not warm, but definitely not as chilly as this morning, but it warms up nicely during the day.
Yeah. Delmas, a classic race venue. We've raced on this farm many times, but we're going to be hitting some new areas of it. Lots of river crossings. So let's talk about the morning session. Take us through the junior loop, and then we'll chat about the quaddies.
Matt, you know what, like you say, we've been here many times. I think it is our 4th time in the last 5 years that we've raced on this particular farm, and every time we move the pits to a different location. That's our open and versatile land we have that we can use here. So this time round for the juniors, we decided not to let them cross any roads. We're going to keep them inside, and basically a completely new route for them. Yes, 1 or 2 sections that they'll recognize, but we've given a lot of the sections that the seniors used in the previous years to the juniors, and vice versa again for the seniors as well.
While we were waiting for the mist to lift, we went down in the pits and chatted to the juniors and the quaddies.
Now, today's going to be a fun day. I have competition today. Johnny's here. We're going to have some fun. The championship was fun. There's a lot of kids today. I'm just going to hope to get a good place today. Podium, please. I don't really have a game plan. Just a good start because I think there's going to be a lot of dust. It's very cold. My fingers is very sore. But I think it's going to be a fun day out here.
Tell me about it. Ja, is lekker. Is vandag baie koud. Die trek gaan choppy wees. Dis is laas. Dit was 'n lekker trek laas. Ja. Ek hoop net ek was agter Liam daar rond. Ek hoop ek wen. Just wide open. Just hold the throttle there. Ja. En ja, die draaie. Very choppy, very fast and cold.
Yeah, it has been good. Actually my bike has been performing. I really like to say thank you to my parents, Byra, FMB, and everything that's sponsoring me. Yeah, the team has been doing amazing. The fuel stops are getting faster every time, faster. Yo, my plan is to get the whole shot. I'm just gonna try my best to not get. I'm gonna try my best to not get wet. Yo, because I'm gonna get cold if I get wet.
Brother D, like I say, 2-horse race as always, so you guys are going to be watching each other off the gate.
Yeah, it's going to be a close race. We're going to be just like every other race. Tight racing, under a minute between each other. And I think it's just going to be a hard day, but it's going to be a fun day of racing.
Have you figured him out? How can you beat him? Because obviously he's a bigger guy, you're slightly lighter, you should be a little bit quicker out the turns.
Yeah, the turns and stuff, but I mean, then you have grip in the corners and it's tough.
Yeah, me and Derek have a lekker dance throughout the year. It's a very tight race every race, and it comes down to seconds every time. So yeah, it's lekker battles. Just gonna try and get the whole shot and make dust so I can stay ahead of him. That's the only plan. Yeah, I'm mostly worried about the 85 today. The double GTs on the 125 is not that big of a worry. The big championships on the 85, so that's my main worry. Yeah, I'm expecting it to be a very dusty and fast, but yeah, hopefully a lekker track.
So far it's been tough to transition from the big 4x4 quads to Raptor, a bit lighter, a bit more nimble, but it's going good so far. We're trying with consistency. Finish a race is how you're going to end the season. So we try. It's a tough competition. It's people like Hannes and Annie, they're not easy to come by. If Ati decides to race again, it's great. Yeah, we've been talking about that this morning. The water crossings and the cold. Take it slow, steady, don't get stuck, don't flood, don't fall, and all should be okay.
Karamba, this season has been amazing for you and obviously constant improvements, but this is going to be a nasty one today.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Let's see how it goes. The last race I couldn't finish because of my battery, but let's see how today goes. I'm sure it's going to get better.
You're on one of the older quads out there, but she's a strong girl.
She's a strong girl. She keeps up with everyone else, and she's fabulous. Let's see how she carries me today.
I believe there's going to be a few fresh river crossings for you guys to handle.
And my bike is not water friendly, so let's see how it goes in the water, but hopefully I'll get through.
Big Burger, when I was checking out the points on the list here, it's getting a little bit gnarly here. Obviously, we have to consider the throwaways, but it's now a 3-horse race.
Yeah, no, it's very close. With Carly's throwaway, she's ahead of me, and then third place, we are very close. Sean and Tian and me. So yeah, three rounds to go. We'll see how it goes, what happens, and I hope we finish. Just take it easy and finish. Don't know if we're going to start in time with this mist, but all good. And like a day, enjoy with the family, and that's it.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a wonderful morning here, nice and breeze. The championship's still open. There's still quite a few rounds left for the season. Unfortunately, I missed the first round due to other obligations doing car racing as well. So unfortunately, but yeah, we're back today, racing in both bikes and quads today again. So it's going to be a long day in the saddle. The water's not our main issue today. It's actually the mist combined with the dust in the morning. It's going to make it a bit challenging. Yeah, look, to get points back in the championship, I need to win all the remaining races of the season. So unfortunately, it's either win or don't finish.
Gnarly, we're at round number 6 of the championship, and I was looking at the championship points. You've got 1-0 to throw away, so it gets tight.
Yes, it's kind of a lot of pressure because there's no more slip-ups allowed in the year, but hopefully everything's going to go well.
What about Cheeseburger? He's climbing the ladder, eh?
Yeah, I'm super glad for him that he's actually doing really, really well. But the dice is on between myself and Franco.
So we know you're going to get your feet wet. There's a few river crossings for you to handle today. And from the pictures that Vian put out, they look a bit deep.
Yeah, on the quads it's kind of deep. On the two-wheelers it's not too bad. With our smaller wheels, it's kind of a deep one.
With the mist lifting just in time for the start gates, we take them to the line. Q1s is starting to become very tense, as is all the junior gates. First things out, the Q1s, the 450 Premier category. Franco Pretorius hammering the nail as always, so good off the gate. And he would be throwing the big dust into the faces of Gnarly Carly and Sean Kutzer as they chased out into the 53-kilometer big loop. On the Q2s, going to be hard to fight against the thunder that is Hannah Simon and the Screaming Banshee. Always so good off the gate, but Darby in close attendance this time around. On the Quad Masters, Vickers Pretorius, almost unstoppable. The perfect record of hole shots and great win streak as well. And he would be chasing out there to try and get the cheese one more time, but also try and chase down as many of the Q2s as he could. The Quad veterans, Barney Barnard in the big 4x4, monster trucked his way out of the gate to run and hide ahead of Swace Blicknot. For the vets, the 4x4s were in full attendance. For the ladies, Liesel and Nicole Barnard put on the big show in the 4x4s, but also a great start for Callie van Staden. The top 3 in the championship, with the top 3 out of the start maze. With the quads out, we turn our attention to the junior categories. Once again, Drickus van der Merwe and Derek van Aspeken absolutely hammering each other at every single round of the championship and dominating the Pro 85 senior category. For the junior 85s, Jay Eels, one of his best starts of the season. Couple of riders tangling with each other. For the junior 85s, as always, giving us phenomenal riding. Mullet Man out there, Tekeng Marahi. Strong numbers. On the 65cc gate, the return of the champ, the machine, John-Luc van der Westhuizen, going out there banging bars with the championship points leader, Declan Richards. The Vans racing Husqvarna boys out front and running and hiding. On the 50cc's, Rogan Matthews has been putting on a big show this season. Championship points leader ahead of Cameron Hine and Barnard Blocknote. Once again, it was going to be Rogan Matthews to go out and dominate. For the morning session, Vian tells us how the tracks are looking. So talk to me about the distance for the kids. I know you've been stretching your legs this year.
Yeah, this is a surprise. Probably the shortest junior loop that we've had in a very long time. It comes down to about 14 kilometers. We were hoping for 15, but unfortunately on Tuesday evening we had a veld fire here on the farm, and one corner of the farm got really badly damaged, so we had to cut a piece out. So yeah, junior loop 14 kilometers that we can work with, but however it's a nice flowing route. Hard pack, very bumpy in certain areas. I don't think they're going to realize it's a shorter than usual loop. They're going to be busy out there.
Okay, that's the juniors. Let's chat about the quads because the championship is starting to heat up. And I just walked around the pits with the boys. There's a lot of quads on the gate today.
Yeah, normally we're a little bit worried about the quads, but this time around it seems like we've got some extra guys here just to fill up those classes. I don't think the guys that's leading should be complacent. They should be really focusing and making sure that their points don't get robbed with new guys that's on the gate today.
Let's get on out there and check out the track, starting things out with our junior category races. For the 50cc Warriors, look note, getting a good job of work done. The track ran a little bit faster than expected with 14 kilometers on the loop, and the 50cc racers able to get 5 laps under their belt for the third and second place runners of Bloeknoot and Cameron Hine. But as always, it is Rogan Matthews that hammered the nail and dominated, putting a lap between himself and his closest rival to once again take another win and extend his lead in the 50cc Pro Championship. For the 65cc's, lots of chopping and changing outside of the top 2, where we saw Armand Fourie get a good ride going, racing out of the Gravity Racing Squad. 8th place for him, with Julian Vanderberg up the road in a number 7 ride. Very close bunching though between 8th and 4th place before we broke in to the big dogs running inside of the top 3. Trav Levy got left behind on the line and just could not find his groove and find his way through the traffic and the dust in the early morning session. Remember, the juniors going out there 14 Ks on the running loop and a 2-hour racing format. Levy has to swallow one of his lowest finishes of the season in 6th place. Will still remain though inside the top 5 for the championship hunt. Lincoln Deister starting to build in confidence on the 65cc machine as he walks away with the top 5. He was in the mix with all of the major championship players in the early laps before everyone started to turn up the wick. Alexander Nemeth, such a strong rider in the championship hunt as well. I don't think he's finished once outside of the top 5, and he once again walks away with a number 4. Kellen Deventer, one of the big stories of the season for us, watching this kid develop outside of 50s and moving up into the 65s and top 3 once again. But the top 2 were dominated by the Vans Racing Factory Husqvarna riders of John-Luc van der Westhuizen and Declan Richards. In the early laps, separated by seconds until in the late stages of the race, John-Luc pulled the pin and walked away with the big win. In the Junior 85s, one of the massive gates on the morning session, a great pickup from the motocross world coming across and understanding how to get the best out of cross-country racing. Roald Potgieter, 8th place. He'll be pretty happy with that. Nico Molitsani gets it done inside of a number 7 with Tienpont and number 6. She's starting to come back on point. Here's Twane. Won't be long until she breaks her way inside of that top 5 once again. Juan Agostini, very good on championship points as well. He's going to be walking away with a top 3 or a top 4 come the end of the championship hunt. But a bad gate today held him back, only able to climb the ladder up to a number 5. We had a nice catch-up in the morning with Tekeng Marahi. He seems fired up, and I think the interview fired him up even more as he brings home one of his best rides of the season, just outside of the magical top 3 into a number 4 finish. Debutante coming out of the 65s last season into the Junior 85s, Kaya Kutsia, still developing and building. He's going to be walking away with some wins later on in the season and certainly next year. For now, here on the Bikers Warehouse, Husqvarna takes a number 3 ride. Jay Eels, after coming out of the gate like a man possessed on the Yummy, was running inside of the top 2 the whole way through the day, eventually having to drop down to 2nd place and bow to the dominance that is Mullet Man Liam Skippers. But Jay Els can hold his head high he had one of his best rides of the season. And he may be the man to take the challenge to the mullet. Moving up the road into the senior 85s, the kids were absolutely burning it up out there. Ulrich Furry, 8th place for him. And we are seeing incredible speeds and pace coming out of the senior 85s. The first and the biggest riders out there. Some of these eyeing up, moving up into the categories for the OR4s and the high school 125s for next season. Radikilo Linchwe got it done into a number 7, with Tamaka Marahi to a number 6. So cool to have the F&B Lesotho riders crossing the border and coming and playing, the majority of them racing in the 85 Pro and Junior categories. Hanya de Kock, not the best gate, but still solid numbers. One of the big kids on the gate, desperate to move up into the 125s, but for now, having to dominate the 85s. 5th place for him. Willem Buerta, also one of the best rides we've seen out of Buerta. Himself and Jaden Els were banging bars nicely in the early stages. All of the riders inside the top 5 staying on the lead lap, getting a eye-watering, dizzying 9 laps of racing under their belt. Jaden Els eventually, towards the latter half of the racing, did manage to rid himself of Buerta and climb up the ladder to a number 3 spot. And then we turn our attention to the 2-horse race on the track and on the championship. Derek van Asbergen and Drickus van der Merwe. In the early laps, separated by mere seconds, until eventually a gap was pulled by Drickus van der Merwe in the final couple of laps of the 2-hour race, dropping Van Asbergen down to 2nd and hammering another win.
Drickus, as always, it has to come down to you and D. Lap number 1 and that gate. You ran.
Yeah, it was very fun, the track. It was very choppy and fast, and yeah, I got the whole shot and pulled the gap, and yeah, it was very fun.
Something about the setup on your bike, because look, there's D coming in right now, but yeah, I don't know, there's no love there. The championship is now down to the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, the championship start, I already had 1 throwaway, so I can't make a mistake now through the last 2 races. So yeah, start championship, yeah.
And just feedback on the track, one of Vian's small ones for the year, 14 Ks, you were doing 14 minutes a lap.
Yeah, the track was very short, like you didn't know, then you're in the pits. But yeah, it was lekker.
D, it's always going to be that story, hey? It's going to come down to who gets that dust bubble.
Yeah, on the first lap I got stuck behind a few riders, just struggled on the start and stuff. But after that I started going good, and then yeah, I just rode my race and had fun.
It seems like, as we've seen with a couple of the senior riders, if you can't get that lap number 1, you're kind of stuck in number 2.
Yeah, it kind of is like that. You pull the gap in lap 1 and that they just kind of stand there.
Give me some feedback on the track. Nice busy one for you, or maybe a little bit too short for your skill set?
No, I like it. I liked it a lot. It was lack of fast and it's just a nice track. It was quite bumpy, but I liked it. But I couldn't have done this race without 266 suspension, my mom and my dad and Case Construction.
Mullet, tell me about your day, dude. That looked like a fun one for you.
Ja, dit was baie lekker. Die baan was perfek. Ja, dit was so lekker. GXCC, what a event. Hierdie was sulke lekker baan, die beste baan van die jaar. En ek wil net baie dankie sê vir Gravel Pit, Maximum, Heimel, Wynnie, my ma, my pa, my boetie, my sissie.
Listen, brother, as we get close to the end of the year, seems like you're finding more of the Pro 85s up the road, out there on the track. Tell me about your journey.
Yeah, I'm trying. The dust was a bit of a problem, but yeah, I've tried. I think I did today also a good job, but yeah.
Brother, looks like you found a great track for you. Tell me how your day went.
It was fun, but at the end it got a little bit hard because it kept shooting you up, and the river crossings weren't that bad, and yeah.
You still got a smile on your face though, eh?
Yeah, and I also wanted to say thank you to my mom, my dad and my sister for helping me through this journey.
JL, a little bit of a bonus race for you, but yeah, it looked like you just had a massive smile under that helmet of yours.
Yeah, that was very lucky. Me and Declan had a dice the whole race. Yes, the track was amazing. Sweeps, everything was in it. I just loved it.
Looks like you got everything out of the day. I mean, it's a practice day for you, but you're still out there banging bars.
Yeah, I'm just spinning it everywhere. But yeah.
Deck, from your side, obviously you're hunting down the championship. You've got some good numbers on the page, and you guys were formation flying all day.
Yeah, it was very tough. Johnny, in the last few laps, I couldn't stay by him. He was fast, sure.
But tell me about your championship, because there's no one anywhere near your back wheel at the moment. You've got 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, I'm excited for these 2 rounds. I think it's going to be a good championship. We're just going to have some fun.
Cal, always great to see you. That big move up last year from the 50s, and you've made the 65cc yours quickly. Tell me how the day went.
It was a classic GXCC, very fast. There were some sketchy sections, but I just had to deal with it, lean back, and just keep it wide open.
I love your riding style. What's the big difference between the 50s and the 65s? Obviously, you've got gears, you've got bigger tires, but it seems like you just gelled with it much better than the 50.
Yeah, it is a bit better because I have more speed and a little bit more control over the bike. Yeah.
Tell me about the competition out there, because 65s is a tough gate.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in my class now, a lot more than last year, so there is a bit more competition, but I'm friends with most of the people, so yeah.
Regan, leading the 50cc championships, another win today. Can you describe that track to me?
Yes, no, the track was very nice. I liked the nice track.
Regan, the challenge with the 50s is how many of the 65s can you catch?
I don't know, maybe I could catch all of them. Yeah, I wish. I think I catched about 6 or 5.
Tell me about the season so far. I mean, you've had an amazing season. You're off the front in the championship, and tell me what's the favourite track and why?
This track is the best track. I like going through the rivers, and yes, this is my favourite track.
Let's confirm the results then coming out of the morning session for our junior categories. Drickus van der Merwe, another win and more points in his fight against Van Asbeken. Els, Bertha de Kock take us to the top 5. In the junior 85s, the big story is Mullet Man running off the front. But check out Jay Eels. He is now biting at his heels. And it's not long until we'll see a elbows up race. Here, Kitsia, solid and consistent in third place ahead of Marahi, Agostini, Tiampont, Moletsani, and Potkita, the top 8 in the ultra-competitive junior 85s. 65cc's, the return of the champ, John-Luc van der Westhuizen, gets the win ahead of his good buddy Declan Richards. Second place, though, for Richards, extends his championship lead over Deventer, Namath, Deister, Levy, Vanderberg, and Buerta. And on the 50cc gate, Rogan Matthews running away with his championship at the moment, putting a whole lap into his closest competitor of Hein and Blicknote. The juniors has come to life with 2 rounds to go on the 2024 championship. Next up, we turn our attention to the quaddies, the big 53-kilometer loop out here at Delmas. Quads was a big story on the day. We had a lot of our social riders, but in our pro categories, we also had some incredible racing. Nicole Barnard on the big 4x4 had some problems though, only completing 1 lap, getting jammed up in one of the water crossings. Carly van Staden, similar situation for her on her stocker. That meant that Liesel Barnard took a solid run into a number 3 ride. Celeste Berger on her comeback ride, second place for her and staying on the lead lap. That was a huge story for us out there. And Liesel Barnard moves herself back into championship contention and takes the big Can-Am 4x4 1000cc machine. It was the perfect weapon of choice to walk away with a dominating ride out at Delmas. And then in the veteran category, coming out of the gate nice and strong in the number 2 spot, but eventually losing time out there on the course, dropping down to 4th place. That puts Swace Blicknort out of the top 3 competition. Davy de Vet, steady and solid as always, is the QCon EMD rider. 3rd place for him and 3 laps of racing under the belt. Big attrition rate though, with a lot of quads getting drowned out into the water, just picking the wrong line going forward. Tony DeSantos was able to move himself through into a number 2 spot. That's definitely going to help him out in his championship aspirations. Bringing home finishes at this stage of the season is what it's all about. Bonnie Barnard, so strong, so solid, and super competitive as well. He was laying down the big laps, and he took another big win and hammered the nail on the competition, putting the rest of the dudes 1 lap down. In the Quad Masters, Karambo Jobi. We chatted to him early in the morning session, but unfortunately, the track was a little bit too tough for the old Bombardier. He only got 1 lap under his belt. That meant Fernando de Santos was able to move forward into a number 6 ride with Darren Moyle, captain stock standard. Once again, bringing it home, seeing the checkers, and points for a number 5 finish. Don't count out Moyle for climbing up inside the coveted top 3 come the end of the season. Bernardo Fivas, it's been great to have Bernardo back on the gate with us this season and on the championship. 4th place keeps him in the championship hunt. Xander Branken also used this event as his comeback ride. 3 laps under his belt and a number 3 finish. He'll be pretty happy with that one. One of the rare Can-Am 450s still rocking and rolling out there. I did unfortunately give the kiss of death to Vickers Pretorius. I chatted to him in the morning and told him he'd had the perfect season. And this time around, he did not have the perfect race, but it's close to perfect. Second place will still see him in the championship running. But it's the turn of Roxy DeSantos to climb all the way to the top step and take his win on the Masters Gate at round number 6. And then up the road into our pro categories. The Banshee sits a little bit lower than the rest of the quaddies and did not enjoy those river crossings. 3 laps under his belt and third place for the Ironman that is Hannes Simon. Davy van Staden, so strong in the championship at the moment, has a couple of weapons. He can choose the big 4x4 or the big 700. He seems to have enjoyed the 700 in the second half of the season, and he gets a number 2 ride, staying on the lead lap, not too far off the back wheel of former champion Henny Macau Jr. Jr. was on fire this time around, putting a huge gap of over 10 minutes into his closest rivals. Henny Macau Jr. on the top step. And then into our premier category, the Q1 450s, Franco Pretorius takes a 0 this time around. That's going to change up the championship. Tian Wolfart, strong in the championship though. 4th place finish for him. Francois Smallberger also coming on strong in the second half of the season. 3rd place ride for him on the Honda keeps him in the championship hunt. But the big story was the 0 on the scorecard for Franco. Sean Kutzer takes one of his highest finishes since swapping across onto the smaller Honda. He'll be happy with his ride there. But the big story on the day was gnarly Carly Simon. She didn't get the gate, but she did eventually make the pass on everyone out there on the 450 Q1 gate, and she had the beating of all of the Q2s. What does that mean? It means she is the first lady ever to take a quad overall win at a GXCC club and regional event. Go Carly!
Nolly, we've raced all season. It seems to have come down to the last 3 rounds now, eh?
Yes, today was a good run for us and we were looking for the win.
Tell me how deep that water was, not on lap 1, but on lap 3.
Listen, on lap 1 it was deep, but on lap 4 we all got soaked.
Tell me about the championship though, because you had a good day, Franco had a bad day. That changes things up completely.
So as far as I know, I've got 2 wins and I think 3 second places, but today it all goes down to I got the overall win, and as far I believe, I'm the first lady that got that right, so that's awesome.
Henny, describe today's racing, because it looked like it was custom made for the quads.
Dit was 'n baie lekker baan. Dit was op ons nommer. Die rivier het naderhand bietjie diep geraak met alles wat ons uitgery het. Maar ons het elke keer deurgekom, ek verstaan nie hoe nie. En dit was op die nommer. Ons het 'n bietjie moeilikheid gehad vandag, maar deurgedruk en aanhouers sal altyd wen.
Vickers, I think I cursed you this morning. I said you were going to have the perfect day. Yeah, this one's on me.
Yeah, definitely. You cursed me. This is our first year doing GXCC. Small team from a small town. Just want to give a shout out to our guys. We sponsor ourselves, we help ourselves, and so we learn. We're enjoying GXCC, and what a blessing to be here with you guys.
Check out the results. Carly on the top step, and that is going to see a championship fight down to the wire for the final 2 rounds of the championship. Kutzer, Smallberger, Wolfart, and the 0 on the scorecard for Pretorius. That really makes things interesting as we move forward. Then in the Q2s, Henny Macau Jr. gets the job done once again ahead of Davy van Staden and Hannes Simon. It looks like it's going to be Macau versus van Staden for the end of the season, the big cheese. On the Masters category, interesting situation. This category has been dominated by Vickers Pretorius just about at every single round this time around. Roxy DeSantos gets the cheese and stands on the top step. Branken, Fivas, Moyle, DeSantos and Jarby take us to a top 7 on the very competitive Masters category gate. In the veterans, Barney Barnard, when it gets tough, he gets fast. Another big win, hammering the nail, putting almost 20 minutes into Tony DeSantos, De Vet, Bluknoot and Besadenhout. And into the ladies, where Liesel Barnard gets her points back on track with another big win ahead of Celeste Berger. Great to see Celeste back racing with us. A number 2 spot for her ahead of Liesel Simon, Kali van Staden and Nicole Barnard. That was the morning session for our quaddies and our juniors. Before we go into the senior motorcycles, a quick chat to VW Mastercars. For the last 2 seasons, GXCC has been partnering with our amazing friends out there at VW Mastercars Hatfield. And as always, they've got some amazing specials. Get yourself the brand new Polo from VW Mastercars Hatfield in Pretoria and only start paying at the beginning of 2025. This is an amazing deal for all of our youngsters who are coming out of the 125s, maybe up into the 250s and looking for car number 1. So get on up to VW Mastercars Hatfield and check out the new Polo Vivo. Now for the afternoon session where we focus in on a bumper entry from the motorcycles. And before the race, we go down and chat to the players.
It's been tough. I've started to gym and it's my first time ever in my whole riding career riding a 4-stroke. So that was a big adjustment for me. I got it December and my first race was the first one and I didn't ride it ever. So I was like, let's just do this. And that's racing, let's just do this. 100%. And with racing, you don't know. The problem is my one race, my bike broke. And the last race I actually won, but with the fire, it put me back. And that's being a champion. You have to say, you know, you gave your best at the end of the day. So I'm just going to push for this one, push for the next one, and then I'll be back on the championship points, and there's no stopping me now. I'm going to take it as it comes, because the last one I actually had no moose, so I had a flat. And Uncle Fricky was actually just laughing at me because I never got to finish this one. So I'm going to wing it. I do see that there's a bit of rocky sections, but all in all, I'm good. I'm just going to chase Brooklyn, give it my all, keep constant, and no falling.
Laurie, good season. Obviously, great national series for you as well, but we're back at the GXCCs. There's 3 rounds to go, and it's Delmas.
Yes, yeah, always good to be at the GXCCs, well-organised events. And yeah, I've raced here last year for the first time. It's a nice track, nice terrain, hardpack, dusty, rocky. So yeah, it's not just hang on the cable, you actually have to think a little bit. Bike setup is also key. I just went out now and the bike's feeling good. Big thank you to the team. I mean, we've got amazing sponsors and team behind us. So all in all, it's going to be a good day.
I'm going to talk to you about bike setup. Last time around, we were grassland riding and you kind of went a little bit soft and you were worried about that. You'll have had to make it a little bit stiff this time.
Yes, Matt, exactly like that. I came to this event with the mindset of what I had at the previous GXCC. And like you say, it was a little bit too soft. So I'm running the same rider sag. I've just gone a little bit harder on the compression to keep it higher in the stroke. It felt like I was riding too low in the stroke. It was comfortable, but when you hit something square or a rock, you need that extra bit of stroke. So yeah, I went a little bit stiffer, but basically the same setup as last time.
Talk to me about tyres. I like to talk a little bit of the tech at the moment. You're coming out of racing Uppington in the deep sand. Now you're coming back to hard pack, so different shoes for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're running Dunlops this year, and what an amazing brand. They cater for any terrain. I mean, like you say, we had MX-14s, a scoop tyre for the sand. I'm on a MX-53 now for hard pack, and yeah, I love this tyre. But basically, that's very important. You have to choose the right tyre for the right terrain. Otherwise, even if the bike is set up well, if it doesn't hook up and if it doesn't track going around the corners at speed, you're going to lose out.
Hey, Brother Franco, didn't get to catch up with you at the last one, but it was so cool to see you back out there, but barely big enough to swing a leg on this 125, eh?
I managed to do it. It's, last year I struggled a lot to get used to the 125 because of my height, but yeah, I'm used to it now. It's fun now, yeah.
And obviously out of the championship, but you're going to be fighting for the win today once again.
Yeah, no, I will always fight for the win. Yeah, my shoulder injury set me back a lot in the championship. So we're going to try to win it next year, definitely. Yeah.
I know you're based up in Vryburg there, so you're good at the sand pit, you're good at that kind of loose terrain. How are you feeling about this hard pack?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm the best in the sand, but I'm also good with this. This is a lot of fun. I think today is going to be very fun. Yeah.
Nate Dog, 125s. I mean, you're in a class of your own at the moment, but yeah, you got to keep an eye on your back wheel as well.
Yeah, I think the guys are going to be quick today. Can't wait to get out there. I think it's going to be a fast track. The dust looks like it's getting pushed away by the wind. So I'm going to try to get whole shots and hopefully keep in the front the whole day.
That has been your story, but of course you've got a lot of competition, mainly out of your base camp as well.
Yeah, the guys are really quick coming out here. Murray got whole shot last time. I had to push and get past him. Seth, really fast rider. I just have to catch him and then hopefully get past if he gets whole shot.
3 rounds to go, including today. I mean, you must be feeling chuffed about your season so far.
It's been a good season so far. I haven't had to use the throwaway yet. Hopefully I don't have to use it. But it's going good. The bike's staying together. And I can't wait until the next one.
Matty, great to have you back with the GXCCs. Did you pick the right one?
Oh, Matt, I hope so. Delmas, Dusty Delmas. I think it's going to be a good day though. Go have some fun in the bike and go bang some bars with the gents in the class.
I'll just update you. There's 4 guys fighting for the championship. You've got to kind of stay away from those guys, okay?
I'll see what I can do. Maybe we can play around with some points today, but no, I'll try and stay out of the way of their championship. But just here for some training for the national in Bloem and for some fun.
Ty, the OR3 Pro Championship, it's now a 4-way split. You're at the bottom end of that in 4th place, but it ain't over.
No, I think it's like less than 5 points or something up to Derek, and I think every race we trade who gets to run up front. I think it depends lots on who gets a good start, and it's been, I think, probably the tightest I can recall in my time out here. Even on the national side, we're trading spots every single race, but it's super fun. I love battling with those guys.
Tell me about the gates as well, because like we said at the beginning of the season, you were always inside the top 3, and then we kind of cursed you with that one after that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I've forgotten how to do a good start. So we actually went and practiced. I think the first time I've ever practiced a GXCC start. So we'll see today. Let's not put any expectations. Let me not say I'm good at starts anymore. Today, it's try get up front. Hopefully, we can improve the starts and not do some spectacular wheelies.
I know you're a sandpit racer. You love it when it's soft and loamy, and they've got that lovely deep hook. This is hard pack racing. So obviously, you are really good at changing the setup on your bike if you got it right.
I hope we have it right. I had a good hard pack setup before we went to Uppington. I've basically just gone back to that. We've gone back to Dunlop's MX53. It's an amazing tire on this hard pack. And yeah, I think we should be dialed. It's the same as we've been racing all year long early on. So I'm happy, comfortable on the hard pack.
D, we've been here before, leading a championship in the last 3 rounds. That was in the 125 days. Now you're leading the championship in the last 3 rounds in the 250s.
Yeah, I've always liked Delmas. Every time we come here, it's something new. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My brother is just behind me, so it's a little bit stressful, but we're going to take it as it comes.
As long as you don't take each other out.
Yeah, no, that's not in the plan.
I was just chatting to Tyron Beverly. He's like, man, there's like 8 of us that can win a race. Maybe not a championship, but 8 guys that can maybe walk away with a win on the day.
Yeah, there's still 3 rounds left, and I think there's still plenty that can happen in the last 3 rounds. So yeah, let's see. We are in a very, very, very competitive class, but it's always fun out there.
Let me just ask you about the development on your machine. We saw you swing a leg late in the season on the 250. Obviously this year, you've got this thing dialed.
Yeah, we had a few problems throughout the year and end of last year. But yeah, we've probably sorted it out now and it's running like a dream.
I hope I didn't curse that.
I also don't hope so.
Johnny B, the big story is you trying to nail down a nice early championship. Maybe not today, but maybe the next round. But really for you, you want to chase down those 450s today.
Yeah, I've been quite consistent in the 350 class, and I'm going to try and get into that overall today. Yeah.
Carl de Toy is always there, so he's kind of like a little thorn in your side. You can't wrap up an early championship because every time you've won, he's got second.
Yeah, Carly will bang bars today, and yeah, super cool guy, and I hope he finishes the championship like that. Yeah, nice and fun.
Tell me about this type of terrain. Obviously, we've gone back to, well, it looks like we're going to be racing on concrete, brother.
Yeah, Delmas has been good to me, so I like this track, and I think it suits me, so I think it's going to be a good day.
Tell me about the season, the big swap over down to the 350s. You're obviously one of the big dudes out there, so are you going to move up to the big show next year?
Yeah, that's the plan. So 450s waiting for me, and that's going to be the plan for next year. And yeah, super excited.
Sure, Wayne said, as long as you get the championship.
Yeah, I have to get that championship first. It's not over until it's over, and yeah, just thank you to all the sponsors. We won't be here without them.
It's actually been better than expected. There's a lot of things I've changed in terms of like training, and I've been training a lot this side as well. And it's good. It's showing, speed showing, and hopefully I can just keep it consistent. And if I can give it that extra to maybe get a third at the end of the year, I'll give it my best, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah, no, I'm actually super excited and impressed with myself. I think it's my 3rd year, the GXCC. So yeah, I'm just giving it my best every time and having fun. It's not as intense, but you do have the likes of like Wade, Dart coming that side, Tyron Beverly and all. So now and then, yeah, they do come give us a push. So that's why we come this side a lot. So we come look for the competition here. So I do the motocross nationals as well. So yeah, I try to do a bit of everything and improve every time. Last time I was here was on the 250. I think I was still riding OR3 Pro, and it's been a while, so maybe a bit hazy, but same as every other GXCC, come be safe, give it my best, finish in one piece, and try and gun for the best position possible.
Brother, amazing season and your comeback season as well after all those injuries. But for some reason, you've got it dialed this year.
Yeah, I don't know, after the injuries, seems like I got fast a little bit. Worked on my fitness a lot, so it's paying off.
Tell me about the hookup on the Honda. Obviously, you're sitting in number 2 spot in the championship. Consistency has been your season.
Yeah. If I get a good gate, it's a good race. But I don't like the starts. I can't do that. I like when medical starts. But yeah, if I can get a good gate, it's going to be a good race. But as long as I finish all the races, it will be a good season.
You often don't get a good gate, like you say, but you do get a good lap number 1. So you're obviously throwing some elbows out there.
Yeah, my lap was always my fastest lap since I started racing. So yeah, we'll see how it goes today.
Tell me, with 2 rounds to go after this one, obviously this being 3 rounds to go, next year, are you going to go for the big one again? Because we know Honda are coming out with something hot for next year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next year. But if I'm on one class again, I'll try and do the championship for next year. Try my best.
Brado, so cool to see you at the GXCCs. I know it's a little bit of extra training for you, but some cement for you to race on here today.
Yeah, I know, it's nice. I haven't been to GXCC in, I think 2-3 years. So yeah, it's good. It's good training for Bloem. Obviously, it's sort of similar terrain. We want to try some things with the bike, and yeah, what else better to come to a good series like this? And for me, I'm finally healthy. I think that's the biggest thing. I've had some like little injuries I've kept, on the down low, because they don't affect me, but it has been nagging me. And the last 2-3 months have been healthy, and it's been nice. I'm just trying to race a lot and just building. Obviously, we're building. I want to do well in Bloem at the last round, but the big one in January is ultimately the goal, and that's what I'm just building for.
Brad, it's great to have you with us on the line, and obviously the championship's a bit of a wild one. Scotty's running the numbers, but he just told me his knee's blown out as well, so yeah, it's kind of all up there at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it's all fought in the start. I remember these races, it starts everything, so yeah, let's see. We have to take a risk, and I think if I'm there, I'm there. If I'm in the dust, I'll just be in the dust. So yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to racing though.
Scotty, amazing season so far, and this is a wild one. Everyone knows Delmas can be crazy.
Yeah, I think the last time I raced here was at the National back in 2020 or 2019, somewhere there, so I haven't been here for a couple of years. But yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be the final GXCC that I actually race. I've done some significant damage to my knee, had a crash and stuff in Uppington, so yeah, unfortunately the knee needs reconstructing, so after the final national we'll be going to do that and get on the road to recovery. So this will be my final racing GXCC. I will be here to try and see where the points balance out towards the end of the year and see if I throw away a couple, but overall it's been fun, and we've used them as good training things, and overall I've had a fairly good season. And we'll see, just have some fun today, and overall the GXCC guys always put on phenomenal events, so really excited to go out there and have some fun.
Get him on the gate as we go forward into the afternoon event. The wind came up beautifully, so we knew it was going to be banger racing as the flags were about to drop. The Pro OR1 category opening up the afternoon session. Flag drop and a bogey start coming out of championship points leader Scotty Haygate. He was out the back door. That meant it was Hayden Lowe on the factory Honda, Brad Cox and Ruan Merry that were going to be running the numbers out front early on. OR2's Seth Lilford showed a wheel up front early on with DeToy and Johnny Buerta sweeping around the outside to do the chase down. That's the top 3 in that championship on the number 2 gate. OR3's Blake Young hammers the Yamaha out to his first hole shot of the season with Peter Karam. Wilson was there and Cam Becker. Derek Karam, championship points leader, outside of the top 5. High schools, Franco Ferri, the little pocket rocket, gets it done once again, but quickly, Nate Dog Westerdale, the championship leader, and Seth Young come around. On the senior gate, Hunter Simon got his wheel out front early on, but very quickly was shut down by a couple of Hondas, namely Lawrence Mahoney and Bew Levy. Mahoney getting the pass done early on to lead things out. A rocket ship start for Carl Melis-Leroux, gets his big KTM out front ahead of Farmer and Van Skalkwyk. An early mistake though for Van Skalkwyk put him back down into the dust, and Peter Hall was out the back door having to charge through all the traffic to get his name out front. Then we started to go down into the Masters category. It's been the Jeff Den show. It was the Jeff Den show once again on the Pepsin Kawasaki out front ahead of Swickers and Jeremy Smith. That is the championship fight at the moment. Then we turned our attention into our Pro-Am gates. Ben Roostradam getting a good drop off the gate. Makwasa Ketleko and medium-sized Nienaber get the job done. Banging bars as always, but no sign of Smallberger. He fluffed his lines off the gate. Into the OR2 Pro-Ams. This has been a two-horse race in the championship. As always, two-horse race out front. Dieter de Vet gets his nose in clear air ahead of Jaco Nordia. OR3 Pro-Ams, very competitive gate. Cam Farrell gets one of his best starts of the season. He's sitting in the 3 spot in the championship. Himself, Janko van die Kerk, and Philip Hobbs. Watch out for that battle to start unfolding. In the OR4 Pro-Ams, Drickus van der Merwe, since he's got onto that new 125, he has been dominating. But Jake the Snake is the championship points leader on the Kawa, and the Yami of Peter Colleen is not to be counted out. Into the senior Pro-Ams, our new gate for the 24 season. Edwin Gower is the championship points leader, but you've got Aubrey Meyer, Ibrahim Kurabali, and Chris Harmser Sr. in the big mix. For the ladies' gate, the Pocket Rocket once again gets fired out and runs clear air, but Brooklyn Lilford is the championship points leader. Shelley Tyler was out the back door early on, so she would have to plough the field and get through Gabby Fotheringham and Caitlin Pretorius. It was going to be a busy day for all of the category races going out there onto the course, and we talk track and championship with Vion. The course is going to be a big one. Normally we're looking around about the 50-kilometer marker, so we know we're going to be hitting some different areas of the farm. Take us through the look and feel of today.
Yeah, you know what, Matt? There's just certain sections that we can't throw away. There's a couple of nice big jumps on the further side of the farm. We had to just include that again. The guys are going to have good fun there. Taking them out there means that this one is going to be probably a record breaker for GXCC when it comes to the senior loop. It's 53 kilometers long. And yeah, but it's nice and flowy. I think we're going to see some really good times coming out of it. A couple of nice river crossings. In the past, we put them through the one river twice. This time, they're going through it 4 times. 4 different crossings through that river. So, yeah, it's really nice. As soon as you think, you know, this is getting fast and too flowy or whatever, then you get slowed down. You've got a river crossing, a couple of dongas that you have to go through. Hard pack, not a lot of rocks, but Stephen went out there yesterday in the afternoon and he just came back with the biggest smile on his face. He said he loved it.
Okay, so that is the morning session. We're actually going to do a quick catch-up now. We're going to go around, get ourselves ready for the motorbikes, but the motorbikes is also a big story. We've got a lot of the championships on the line, 3 rounds to go in the season, and everyone's starting to look at those numbers on the page.
I've had a look at some of the championship standings now the other day, and you know what, some of the classes are so close to each other. And then you've got a few wild cards that came in. I mean, Bradley Cox entered today, and I'm sure he's going to be out there in the front chasing. And yeah, it's going to. The guys just need to make sure that they rack up the points and bring it home.
Let's get out there. Let's go GXCC racing. We'll kick things off with our Pro-Am categories as they go out there and figure out the course. A lovely mix of grassland, twists and turns, quite a lot of jumps and bumps. And most importantly, the famous river crossings, 4 of them this time out at Delmas. Nicole Duplessis drowned her bike early on, so she was going to be a no-show on lap number 2. Still getting points on the plate for a number 6 finish though. Ilang Chabana back racing with us on a number 5 ride, and Gabby Fotheringham erring on the side of caution, as a lot of the ladies and the men did at the deep river crossings. Gabby walking away with a number 4 finish. Caitlin Pretorius almost back to full fitness after a ton of injuries. Sees her up in a number 3 ride. Shelley Tyler fighting for a win, but looked like she had problems late on in the race, eventually dropping down to 2nd place. But she's definitely a championship winning threat out there, and she's proved that in the past, walking away with a Pro-Am title a couple of years back. But it's been the Brooklyn Lilford season and championship thus far, and remains that way. Lilford on the top step once again, and the motocross crossover enjoying her seat time on cross-country racing. Moving up into our new category for the season, the Senior Pro-Ams, where we start to see different names and flavors coming into our championship run. Ibrahim Kurabali 7th place on the ride for him. Definitely one of the riders that drowned his bike in one of the deep river crossings. Stephen Kutzer was up the road and benefited from those problems for Kurubali, getting a number 6 ride. Aubrey Meyer, we expect to see Aubrey running a little bit higher than that, but he was able to stay on the lead lap, 3 laps under his belt, and a 5th place. This championship starting to heat up big time as we close in on the final couple of rounds of the championship. Hendrik Buerter was up the road in a number 4 finish. 3 hours and 27 minutes out there. So it was a long slog of a day of racing for these guys. Chris Harmser Sr., the big guy from VW Mastercars Hatfield, dominating on the big 500. Looked like he had a relatively smooth run of the day. He said he did catch up some of the dust, made a couple of mistakes out there, but he'll be pretty happy with a number 3 ride that'll bring him back into the championship hunt. Championship points leader, Edwin Gower, has to take a number 2 seat this time around, as at Delmas, there was one rider just a little bit better up the road. And we're talking just a little bit better. The gap between 1 and 2, a slender 2 minutes. This time around, Richard Hine puts his name on the top step. That's going to be the championship battle as we close in on the end of the season. Hine versus Gower. Into the OR4s, so strong on the gates. Jaden Webb down outside of the show in a number 8. Dylan Besadenhout 7th, one of his lowest finishes on the gate. Charisma Creel, great to see Charisma getting the job done into a number 6, her best ever OR4 ride. Chris Harmser Jr. also swamped his bike out early on in the race, only got 2 clean laps under his belt, but 5th place also keeps him up the road inside of the top 6 for the championship points. Matthias Tiempont, good run of form, still seems to be just developing his riding style around the bigger bike and with the bigger kids around him as well. 4th place is a strong run though. Peter Colleen is definitely one of those guys that's going to be fighting it out for the top 3 in the championship. Colleen, very strong and a good setup on his Line-X Yamaha YZ. Top Yami on the gate at the moment. 2nd place on the race, but still the leader in the championship, but it's starting to tighten up. Jake the Snake Pretorius on the Pepsi Plastics. Cower did the good work in the early part of the season to hold a strong advantage on the championship, and 2nd place is still good enough to hang on to those numbers. But the big win on the day going to Drickus van der Merwe. Since he got his new 125, he has been burning up the laps, and he put the hurt on the championship leader. Into the OR3 Pro-Ams. Nice, interesting story happening at the top end of the field. We'll get to that just now because the championship is starting to change up. Nathan Martins gets his points on the plate for a number 8 ride, with Leonard van der Berg up the road from him in a number 7. All of these riders getting 3 laps under their belt, but the top 4 staying on the lead lap, getting 4 laps scored and counted. Jaden Boyce, so good off the gate, but fading backwards throughout the race, eventually dropping down to a number 6 on the Pepsi Plastics Cower, but still good enough to run inside the top 6 for the championship as well. What we're starting to see, though, is the championship players coming forward and putting their names in the hat as we come to the end of this season. Brandon Brain inside of a number 5. He was right up there with the championship leaders, but eventually could only get 3 laps scored and counted. Hansi van der Berg was up the road in a number 4, and the first of our riders to get 4 laps under his belt, and also the first and top Sherco rider on the day. 4th place for van der Berg. And he's starting to look tasty, getting comfortable with the GXCC layout and format. Henko Prinsloo inside the top 3 for the championship. 3rd place this time around. 1 or 2 small mistakes out there, but the issue is the pace of the top 3 is very close right now. Philip Hobbs, 2nd place for him. He'll have been pretty happy with that, but he was under pressure all day long with Prinsloo and Fairall around him every single time he looked over his shoulder. That meant Cam Fairall walks away with his first big win of the season. He's been there or thereabouts. He came into this round 3rd place on championship points, and the big win is going to help him out big time as we go into the final 2 rounds. Fairall on top. OR2 Pro-Ams, a big gate once again. One of the championship players, Russell Van Gool, having problems at the end of lap number 1, only getting a number 8 finish under his belt. Justin Boniface, we've been getting the motocross guy across from Yamaha, and he is enjoying his time out there at the GXCC. 7th place for him. Dennis van der Merwe, one of his low finishes. We normally see him inside the top 5. This time, a number 6 finish with Ethan DeVette up the road from him in a number 5. For DeVette, his best ride of the season so far. Ruben Stratum forcing the issue, finding time and having to drop some gears and drop some brakes so he can get it onto the back wheel and put on the big show. Ruben Strader, solid inside the top 3 on the championship at the moment, but he had a great dice with Oscar Masango. Masango has been a big story of the season as well, coming across from the wild world of extreme enduro and understanding how to get the best out of his gearbox. Masango, his best ride of the season, taking a number 3 ride out here at Dusty Delmas. But the top 2 is the story and has been the show the whole way through the 2024 season. Jaco Nordia, a little bit of clear air in the early morning. The whole shot went to Dieter de Vet, and then it was up to Nordia to run the numbers in the early laps, allowing de Vet just to follow and stalk his prey. Eventually, de Vet was able to get his nose ahead in the later laps and put a little bit of a gap over his closest rival. And now good buddy, these guys have become Chinas out there racing. De Vet takes another win ahead of Nordia, but it was less than a minute come the end of play. OR1 Pro-Am, big change up in the championship. After fluffing his lines off the gate, Francois Smallberger Jr. was only able to complete 1 lap and takes his lowest finish of the season so far in a number 8. Makwasa Kitleko, 7th place for him. Good numbers and a great gate as well. Going out of the start maze inside of the top 3, that set up a good ride for the afternoon session. Medium size, Shane Nienauber gets the job done for VW Mastercars. 6th place, he'd expected to run a little bit higher on the terrain that suits his muscular riding style, with Kenneth Kleinams up the road from him on the Yami getting the job done to a number 5. But the big story was Smallberger having problems on the day and losing valuable points at the late half of the championship. Mark Stratham did a good enough job to get his name up the road inside of number 4. By my count, looks like Stratham's best ride of the season, with 3 laps scored and counted under his belt. But the top 3 are going to see big benefits as they go forward into Bronkhorstspruit, which will mark round 7 of the series. Johannes Frobler tippy-toed and danced his way around on his KTM to a number 3 ride, with Benru Stratham getting the job done in 2nd place. Benru has been inside the top 3 at almost every single event, and he may well be the champion to look out for with 2 rounds to go. 2nd place is a ton of points to put in your back pocket as we head to Bronchies. And Ben Vessel's story of the day. Ben is going to be odds on as he moves up nicely in the championship with his best ride of the season to take the checkers.
Drickus, always the busiest guy on the gate. Flat out in the morning, flat out in the afternoon. Tell me about the afternoon session.
The afternoon session was like the track got rough. My back couldn't hold it. The suspension was very hard, but it was fun. Made it through.
Give me a breakdown of the lap out there. I mean, it is busy. There's a lot going on this course.
Yeah, it is very fast, very long straights, but very choppy also. Yeah, it was lekker.
Some of the pro category riders have been making me laugh about different lines going through the water. You obviously find some decent lines, but it wasn't perfect every lap, eh?
I just get off the bike and walk it through. Easiest way for me.
Shelley, you've ridden a lot of tracks over a lot of years. Tell me how this one features. Everyone's been raving about this one.
Matt, it was tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It was very compact, especially on your arms. The river section, especially for girls. When Vian said, "Yeah, get off your bike and start pushing," first time I was like, "No, man, I'm going to teach Vian." I saw my ass there. But then I came in. I got out the gate about 4th, so not my best gate because I went smashing into Elaine when she fell, and then I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then you won't believe it. My dad said, "No, you make 3 laps." I was going to win. My bike's empty. I had to Uber it, yeah. So I got 2nd, which is fine. And then in the championship, I'll still be 2nd, and I'll just keep pushing. I took 2 races to go. Train hard, push. That's all you can do.
Love it, Shelley. Never give up.
Never give up.
That's what it's all about as we close in on the end of the series. Ben Vessels takes the big win in the OR1 Pro-Ams ahead of Stratham Krobler, Mark Stratham and Kleinams, and Francois Smallberger Jr. down in 8th place. He's going to be getting the calculator out now and understanding what he has to do for the rest of the season. OR2 Pro-Ams, Dieter de Vet starts to extend slightly ahead of his closest rival, Nordia, but Nordia is going to be his shadow for the rest of the tour. Masango, Stratham and de Vet squeak their way inside of a top 5. OR3 Pro-Am's Cam Farrell arrives at the top step here at the 6th round of the series, beating out on Hobbs, Prinsloo, Vanderburg and Brain, with Boyce taking a number 6 ride ahead of Vanderburg and Martins. In the OR4 Pro-Ams, we caught up with Drickus van der Merwe, putting on a show out there, beating out on Jake the Snake Pretorius and putting a big gap into him as well. Peter Colleen, Tien Pont and Harmser inside the top 5, with Creel, Besadenhout and Webb taking us to our top 8. Then into our senior Pro-Ams, where Hein puts his name on top, putting championship leader Gower down to a number 2. Chris Harmser Sr. finds his groove out at Delmas with a number 3 ride, beating out on Buerta, Meyer, Kutzer and Kurabali. And for our ladies, it continues to be the Brooklyn Lilford show, but Shelley Tyler is right there and ready to pounce. Caitlin Pretorius back on form with a number 3 ride, ahead of Fotheringham, Chibana and Duplessis. Hold your breath as we move forward out on the track one more and we climb the ladder in our age group categories. Start things out with our veterans as we go forward and see who can get the job done. Great racing and always good to see Iswan Hall out there enjoying his time on the seat in and out of the championship with a number 7 ride. Martin Poole, a little bit slow off the gate this time around, but the diesel engine keeps on trucking. 6th place will hurt his championship aspirations, but he did come to life towards the end of the race to throw down some hot lap times. Stefan Bagnall had a few problems with the river crossings, but nothing too major. Got those little legs pumping, and 5th place keeps him inside of that coveted top 6 for the championship. Dick Bessinger has come on strong towards the end of the season. Seat time, saddle time, and a little bit more bike setup have definitely helped his charge as he rolls forward and puts his name in the hat for a top 4 come the end of the season. Willem Swickers always out there championing the Yamaha brand. This time around he wasn't the top Yami, but he breaks his way once again inside the top 3. Another rider who is coming on strong at the second half of the season. It's been the Jeff Dan show on the Pepsi Plastics Cower this time around. It is not going to be the perfect season, but it's going to be dangerously close. He got the whole shot, but he had some problems on lap number 1, where he lost time and eventually could not pull back the deficit. 2nd place for Den, which means it's a first on the season with a new winner in the veterans category. Championship rival Jeremy Smith takes the cheese. Climb up the ladder into our Masters category, where we saw a ding-dong battle out front, and also the riders trying to break their way into the magical top 10 to make the show and get the numbers on the page. Mark Nell, good solid run of form inside of a number 8, with Francois Bosch taking a number 7 ride. And then you start seeing the riders that are dicing out for the championship. Remember, we're awarding big points, podiums and championships for our top 6. So that's where everyone is aiming for. The Wolfarts have come on strong in the last couple of seasons, racing on multiple gates. This time, the turn of JD, getting his Husky up the road into a number 6. Peter Compon has one of his best rides of the season to get those little legs up and through the water. No issues, just played a solid run of form to get his name into a number 5. Warwick van Skalkbeek had some problems at some of the river crossings on the big Honda, and what would have been a big threat for a win on the day eventually had to settle for a number 4 finish with just 3 laps under his belt. Francois Swanepoel on the Roost KTM, so solid and strong, sitting 2nd place on championship points coming into this round, and 3rd place is going to cement that number at the moment. Didn't take any big risks. 3rd place, he'll be happy with that. Wayne Farmer still nursing some injuries on a finger, recovering from some stitches a couple of weeks back. 2nd place was the best that he could muster. Constant run of injuries for Farmer, but still up there and running the pace. Peter Hull, off the back, out of the gate, had to pass literally everyone on his category and deal with a lot of traffic out there, but still walked away with yet another win to extend his championship lead. Into the senior pro category, where Conrad Sieber starts to make his name again, breaking inside the top 10. Up and down on the season, but when it comes together, it's nice to see him bring home the bacon. Henny Blicknot into a number 7 ride. That's not a bad run of form for Blicknot. Keeps his nose nice and clean, but Gerard Foster has been coming on strong in the second half of the season. Took a little while early on to come right, and understand how to get the best out of the big factory Honda. And since then, he has been a championship player. 6th place for him. Hannes Simon just could not run with the pace of the big dogs out front. 5th place for him. A little bit down on power, running a 250 against a lot of the bigger bikes. He'll be happy enough to walk away with a number 5. Yanni Potkita starting to find the magic that he lost last season when he had that massive crash. He's still on the comeback trail, but we're starting to see that speed and energy come back for Jan the man. 4th place, riding out now of the Roost KTM squad. His teammate on the Roost, it is all about Vernon Lowe. The second half of the season has been a big story with Vernon getting massive rides out of the GXCCs and the National Championship. And once again, 3rd place, dangerously close to a number 2 ride, only missing out to Kochi by a matter of seconds. Kochi out of the Shimwell's Yamaha squad though, always a gentleman out there, had a small advantage in the early kilometers before Lawrence Mahoney got the pass done and pulled the pin. Mahoney on an absolute burner, throwing down pro lap times and taking yet another win. But Kochi isn't letting him go in the championship hunt. One mistake, and Kochi will pounce. For now, though, it's still Lawrence with the advantage. Kakleso, Kasipi, you'd think he'd be used to riding through those rivers up in Lesotho, but unfortunately this one catching him out. And it took him a long time to get that bike up and running. He eventually had to retire at the end of lap number 1. On lap 1 though, himself and Ewan Harmser were all over each other before that fateful river crossing. Harmser was able to continue, but not much longer. Chandre Vermaak also had some problems on the day, eventually only getting 3 laps under his belt. But he is starting to find his groove once again after a tough start to his campaign on the 125 high school gate. Lauren LaRue cut his teeth in the OR4 category. Very much a champion of the OR4s, then moving up into the high school 125s. This is his first official season in the pro category, and 5th place, he'll be happy with that one. Alex Schrobler, also a couple of seasons of high school 125 racing under his belt, and definitely a championship player, never far away from the top 5. John Bartmaritz, this goes down as one of his best rides of the season. He definitely found his groove, and he's got the sweet spot set up on his machine now. This will give his confidence a massive boost as we move forward into the final 2 rounds of the season. In the early laps, himself and Seth Young were all over each other, and come the end of racing, Seth eventually made the pass and pulled 4.5 minutes out of John Bartmaritz. Seth Young, this also goes down as one of his best rides of the season. Up and down, trying to understand how the GXCCs work, and I think he's found the groove now. His teammate was up the road though. Didn't take him long to see clear air coming out of the gate, and after that it was all dominating once again. Nathan Westerdale on a burner in potentially his final season on the high school 125s.
Nate, I always feel bad jumping on you guys at the end of 3.5 hours of racing, but take us through your day.
It wasn't bad. I got 2nd off the gate, then passed Franco, and Seth came flying past me, and I think Seth fell in the water or something, and then it was just dusty from there.
Tell me about, was this a bit of a singer for the 125s? Were you on the limit?
I was on the limit the whole time. The sand was bringing the bike back, and the water was so sketchy.
Fun race though, eh?
Yeah, it was really nice.
Kochi, tell me the story.
That was the long one, the bumpy one, but brilliant. What a fantastic track. I have to say well done to Vion. He put together a track today that really, there were some pieces there that was actually more fun than doing things without your clothes on. It was so incredible, and it was just such a beautiful day out. Yeah, pushed as hard as I could, managed to get in front of Laurie at the first water crossing, and then after that he dropped the hammer, and yeah, there was just no more answers left. So, but brilliant day out. Had 1 or 2 little tumbles, and yeah, look, it's just grateful to be here in one piece after the one crash. Where I thought it was seeing some stars a little bit, but yeah, all in all, fantastic day out, brilliant racetrack. You know, thanks to the team, to Shimwells, to Yamaha, to everybody for helping me out and looking after us. And yeah, look, it's an absolute fantastic day out, and yeah, glad to be here.
Peter, tell me about your day, buddy. I mean, we were in the dust or we were in the water. There was no in between.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of dust, a lot of water, difficult river crossings. I got that right. But awesome race. Really want to thank Vion for putting it. One of the I don't know, it just worked, everything worked, and luckily for the wind, the dust wasn't troubling that much. But yeah, I really want to thank 4 guys. I want to thank Vian for an awesome track. I want to thank my wife for supporting me. And I want to thank Leon Gerber for my suspension that worked awesome. It was rough out there, but I kept on cornering and I could go flat out, and it's just an awesome feeling. Pulling G's through the corners, and Bert Smith for getting me in the sport. I don't know what I would have done without it. I thought maybe I should stop this, but after a day like this and the previous race, Vian felt to me like he either outdid himself, or I might be getting fit or something, I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it was awesome.
Thanks, Peter. Loving hearing from you. We'll see you at the next one, brother.
Definitely, I'll be there.
Jeff, I haven't spoken to you much this year, but you've been all dominant in the vets. But you've got a story to tell today, eh?
Yeah, I got a good story to tell today. I mean, the race was quite nice. I mean, the route was really lekker. Had a good start, got going. First water, no, not the first one, the deep one. I think it was the 3rd or the 4th one. It's quite a deep one. Went through that. Well, yeah, the water's kind of like up to almost above the motor. It's quite deep. And then straight after that, the bike started bogging and spluttering and cutting out. You know, I had to back off a bit. I don't know what the problem was. They checked something out on the end of the first lap, and then it went fine after that. So it was good. I enjoyed it. I had fun. Didn't win, but I had fun.
Jeff, for the championship, though, that's what it's all about. This is round 6. We've got 2 to go.
Yeah, the championship is what it's all about. I mean, I've won most of the rest, so everybody's allowed a bad day.
Not too many bad days, though, as we close in on just 2 rounds remaining. Nathan Westerdale is still the man in the high school 125 category. Seth Young coming on strong, as well as John Bartmaritz and Grobler LaRue. Good ride for him ahead of Mark, Hamza and Kasipi. Into the senior category, Lawrence Mahoney continues his good run of form, but Kochi has been his shadow all season long. That means it is still a close run championship. Low has been the high climber on the series, and a great return to form for Potgieter, beating out on Simon and Foster. For the Masters Gate, Peter Hall, even on a bad day, has a good run of form, and the big guy for Pepsi Plastics, Kawa, gets another win ahead of Farmer. Farmer will come back, though, once he is injury-free. This time, Swanepoel in 3rd, Van Skalkwyk, bad day at the office for him, in 4th ahead of Compan. And in the Veterans Gate, Jeremy Smith changes things up in the championship for the Vets. First man to beat down on Den, ahead of Swickers, Bessinger, Bagnall, Poole and Hall. That was our age group categories. Next up, the pro category races across OR 3, 2 and 1. We'll kick things off with a huge story in the OR3 Pros. Maddie Wilson was up there challenging not only for a winning category but an overall, and with a lap and a half to go, a broken chain put him out of the race and dropped him down to a number 8 ride. Stuart Bellingham has one of his good runs of form. First time we've said his name inside of the top numbers, so 7th place, he'll be pretty happy with that one. Eric Merry still trying to find his groove in 2024. Came in as a championship runner after that massive broken leg, but he just hasn't found the mojo just yet. But don't count him out for a late run of form in the championship. Xander van der Linden, 5th place, and stays inside of that top 6 for the championship. Nice and aggressive riding style. We like watching this kid. And Xander van der Linden, strong, one of our move-ups out of the high school 125s. Blake Young got the big hole shot on the Yami. He'll be happy with a box fresh machine. 4th place with almost no setup on the bike. He'll be pretty happy with that as he develops the machine going forward into next season. Tyron Beverly, another bad gate, means he was plowing the field from the back of the pack. 3rd place, he'll be pretty happy with that one after having to fight hard for the entire afternoon race. Peter Karam, big beneficiary into a number 2 spot, with unfortunately his brother having a problem on his machine and dropping outside of the points, and that's going to change up the championship challenge. But the rock and roller on the day, not only taking a win in category, but an incredibly high overall, was Cam Becker on the Pepsi Plastics Kawa. That 250 was absolutely lit all day long as Becker takes his first win of the season. OR2 Pros, interesting situation as well. We've got a 2-horse race out front, but a 4-way split for a 3rd place in the championship. Marcel Swart was down in a number 8, Xander King couldn't find his groove on the day. 7th place, he'll be frustrated with that after finishing a couple of races inside of the top 6. Sidi Goosen cements his number 6 in the championship with a number 6 ride on the day, as the former multiple quad racing champion finds his groove on 2 wheels. Gav Young, rock solid and consistent. He has definitely found the magic this season as he brings the Bikers Warehouse machine up to a number 5, and he will also remain inside that top 5 for the championship hunt. Seth Lilford has been a burner, running top 3s the whole way through the season. This time around, takes a number 4, which is a rare finish for him outside of the podium positions, but still keeps him in that top 3 for the championship hunt. Stoffel Berger moves up 1 position. That may just improve his chances of walking away with that number 4 finish come the end of the season. Great ride for him into a number 3 out here at Delmas. Always the bridesmaid. This season it seems to be the way for Carl de Toy, riding out of the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad. 2nd place and not too far off the back wheel of John Buerter, but just cannot get that win going because Johnny Boy is on one in 2024. Looks like his last season on what he would call the small bike before he moves up into the big banger 450s. But another win shows that he is on for the big number 1 plate. In the OR1 Pro Big Bangers, the Rooster on the Big 5 Honey, those little legs were battling through the water crossings, but Rooster keeps his name in the hat for that top 6 with a number 8 finish. Ruan Mary probably shocked to come out of the gate inside the top 3, dropping down to an eventual number 7 ride. Historically, a 350cc rider, still trying to understand how to get the best out of his setup on the 450s. Cosmos Mamalukas, arguably the smallest guy on the gate on the 450s, and he didn't want to take any risks on the river crossings. 6th place for him keeps him in that hunt between himself and Rooster for the top 6 come the end of the season. A surprise package in the last couple of rounds has been Ruben Peters, an enduro and extreme enduro rider, but somehow he knows how to rip that throttle apart, and he gets a number 5 finish going. 2nd place in the championship coming into this round is the Honda of Jean Vilkin. Definitely didn't want to take any risks today. 4th place, he'll have been a bit frustrated, but it still keeps him up there to chase down the big numbers. Great to see the international rally raid racing star of Bradley Cox coming and joining us at the GXCCs. He had some problems early on in the race with a failing back brake, lost some time in the pits, but still able to fight back to a number 3 ride. The big story out front though was Scotty Haygate and Hayden Lowe in the early laps marking each other, but it was Haygate that made the pass early on and put the dust into the face of Hayden Lowe. But the great news for us in the racing field is Lowe was within sight of Scotty H the whole way through the day. Lowe can hold his head very high. He took the fight and he took the race to the champ. Scotty H though remains out front as he hammers the nail and extends in his championship challenge.
Scotty H, another dominating performance. Tell me about the track and how she developed. Sounds like it got a little bit whooped out there.
Yeah, the track got really rough towards the end, but yeah, I made it a bit more difficult for myself. I stalled off the start, so came from dead last, and yeah, made some quick passes and made my way to the front, and fortunately got past Brad. He toppled over in the water, and then that's when I got to the front, and I just rode a consistent race from there. Tried to protect the knee as much as possible, but yeah, a few dabs here and there, but yeah, it was bearable. So look forward to trying to keep the momentum going towards the final round of the Nationals, and then we'll go and get the knee fixed, and we'll see how the points play out and see what we can do going forward.
Rock solid. Good job. Thank you. Well done. Well done. Nice. Hayes jumping on you as you cross the line there, but nice to see the old magic back, brother.
Yeah, super excited. Really felt good today. Got into a nice rhythm in the beginning and just tried to keep it like that.
Tell me about that gate. I mean, you got a rocket ship fired out there.
Yeah, I was so focused on that gate. I've been taken out twice now, and I was like, not a chance. It's not happening again. So I made sure. Yeah. Big thanks to Harry and the team. So good to be back at the GXCCs. It was an amazing race. And yeah, thanks to all the sponsors.
Brad, give us some feedback there, buddy. It wasn't the perfect day, but you still got the big grin.
Yeah, no, it was a good day. I mean, I got a second place start, and I passed Hayden, I was leading. And then the deep river crossing, I think the marshal thought I was Michael Phelps. He told me to go right. and as I came out, I fell, and then Scotty passed me, and then I was behind Scotty, and then there was a problem with my rear brake just before the end. So we came in and we swapped the complete system, and I don't know, I think I left on like 15th or 16th, and I think come back to 4th or 5th, I don't know, but no, I'm really happy. I enjoyed the track. Vienna and them did a good job, which is always nice, and no, it's nice to twist the cable and get a little bit of time in before Bloem.
How was the dust? I mean, there was wind, but there was plenty of dust as well, so maybe good and bad.
Yeah, I definitely got my dust training, but no, it wasn't too bad with the wind, and honestly, the guys were really nice. They saw me coming, and they moved out the way, which was super cool. So, happy day, and it's exactly what we came for, experience. And would have I liked to have won? Yes, of course, but things happen, and I'm just glad I could come back pretty strong.
Seth, you've been a burner this season. You and your sister have been ripping it up. Always so solid on the championship, bringing home top threes every single time. But it looks like you've got a story to tell today.
Yeah, I do. First lap, like maybe 20 k's in, tyre went flat, so I had to finish the lap. Got here. Wait, first I pulled the whole shot. Can't forget about that one. Pulled the whole shot, then tyre went flat first lap. Second lap I went through another tyre. Got to the third lap easy. And then now it's flat again, so it was a good day. I think overall third, so again.
Talk to me about the championship though, because now we've got literally this job done on round 6, 2 rounds to go, and you are rock solid. You've kind of cemented that third place.
I have, yeah. No, this season's been really fun. It's my first time doing GXCC this season, so it was I come from the motocross, so this was fun. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Cam, I pretty much called it wrong this morning. I thought this was going to be a horsepower track. I suppose it is, but I wasn't expecting little bikes to run that high.
I think this piston has stretch marks on if you open the motor now, but it was a very awesome race, very well marked. Hats off to all the Oaks. The competition in our class is enormous. I mean, if it's your day, it's your day. If it's not your day, bad luck, it's racing. I'm just glad I can pull off the win. I didn't expect to win on my comeback season. I was just aiming for a podium at the last 2 races. But work I've put in showed between the 2 races we've done in Leandra towards now. I'm just super stoked with a victory. Hats off to the team for pretty fast fuel stops. Uncle Ian, Peps and Plastics, Motel, Michelin. I can't thank them enough. This bike was awesome today.
Confirmation of the results on the day. Scotty H, another big win and extends in his championship, but Hayden Lowe, an outstanding ride on the day to be on the wheel of the champ. Cox in third ahead of Vilken, Peters, Mamalukas, Mary and Vieira. In the OR2s, continuation run of form out front and domination from Johnny Buerta ahead of Carl de Toy. Stoffberger, his highest finish of the season, in third place ahead of Lilford, Young, Goosen, King and Swart. And in the OR3s, what a ride on the day for Cam Becker, the comeback kid, hammering the nail in his competition, the only 250 pro to stay on the lead 5 laps, beating out on championship leader Karam, Beverly, Young, Van der Linden, Mary, Billingham and Wilson. What would have been without that broken chain? We leave Delmas in our dust as we get ourselves ready for a short run. 5th of October is going to be our penultimate round of the GXCCs as round number 7 heads to Bronkhorstspruit. We'll see you out there on the line. Keep training. The championship is not over. It's just begun. All this GXCC racing action is brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. So as you can see, things are looking good. And if you go onto the GXCC Facebook page and their website, you'll be able to check out all the points and understand how tight things are as we go into the final 2 rounds. This weekend, me and the boys were out at the final round of the Farm Jams. That was out at Sangiti, Buxy's place. Awesome. That's where we ended off the championship last year, and it was an absolute banger. The guys turned around the track, so we are super excited. We go straight into a double park. We're straight into the edit suite once again this week, so watch out for next week's show where we'll close things out. And then we'll start telling you what is around the corner for the racing month of September and into October. We are not shutting things down. As always with Hollywood, flat out, 5th gear, wide open, swinging off the back. We'll see you guys out there as always.